This is a quick message going out to the City Council about 7:15. Much to my surprise, there is an article in the Metro section this morning where the District Attorney Watkins has decided to push out on a media hype, I'm sure, to try to accentuate his cold case successes in a matter that has been brought up. I think I've left you several messages over the last couple of months on this, but the Hatley situation, which occurred 20 years ago, was one in which we made a good arrest based on a good confession and a lot of circumstances that enabled us to get the conviction on Mr. Brody, who had other activities in and around that neighborhood. Apparently there was another guy by the name of Waterfield who has come up with a match on a fingerprint that came to play somewhere in the process of all of these proceedings. But with the confession that we had and the circumstances that at that time Judge Lavario, who was actually a Democrat who lived in Richfield for a period of time, made 20 years ago, we ended up getting the conviction, sending him to prison. Watkins has been poking on this thing for the last year. Made you all aware that some of this was playing out. Most of you probably don't recall the case. Some of you may. But it's pretty celebrated out in the J.J. Pierce area. And, of course, Michael Hatley and Sidney Hatley are some people who, Susie Hatley, the whole family are people that are quite engaged in the community. So I suspect that this situation, at the time that the name becomes public, will end up becoming a pretty interesting media play. We're very comfortable with our circumstances at the time. This is another case where the best technology available now was not available then. We're going to be working with Greg and the Cooksey team to come up with appropriate responses. But clearly with the Clancy election that Watkins has, he's looking for any and all plays that he can hype his sensitivity to this issue. It's just in this particular case, I think he's got as much contentiousness that's going to be dragged out of this that I'm just not sure he's going to get the political play that he had hoped to. In any case, the DA has been very, very disappointing on it. They've not operated with us. They've not allowed us to do our job. There's another investigation with Waterfield that needs to play out, and it is quite possible that there could be some kind of a plea bargain by the DA at some point in time that I think will probably understate the penalty phase with Waterfield if, in fact, this thing proceeds with him confessing and working with us to working with the authorities in final disposition. But that will have to play out a little bit later. We're going to get all this lined out. I'll get some other information to you on this. My thinking is that there was going to be a release of this maybe as early as Monday. And that's the information I had this morning until looking at the newspaper. We obviously didn't participate in the interview and won't until such time as we feel we've got a message that's helpful enough and demonstrative enough that we want to issue. And we'll continue to play this thing through. I'm quite comfortable that our police department, under the circumstances, operated as efficiently and as effectively as possible at the time. As you've seen in these other cases with new DNA technology, situations have evolved. But in this particular case, we feel quite confident that if Brody wasn't the individual, that both of these men at some point in time were in that house. And that's based on other information that the DA has not chosen to play with much because it doesn't fit their needs. Really a disappointing exercise of justice, but we've got to work with this office 365 days of the year, so we are trying to temper our reactions in a way that doesn't jeopardize our working relationship in the future. But I can tell you there are a number of police chiefs that are watching this very, very close. And I think Mr. Watkins is going to have a long, cold day working with local officials based on the circumstances that will ultimately play out here. Just want to give you a heads up. I don't feel this is something that's going to play into any council-related matters, but involving Richardson as it does, I did want to alert you to the circumstances, and I'll keep you posted on any of the new developments. Take care. Bye-bye.